People who went to a wedding where the couple didn't last long. What happened? Both my brother and sister had short marriages. Sister, husband turned up to the wedding high on crack. She fell in love with someone else. Brother, had a destination wedding on the top of a mountain that took half a day for the guests to hike, including my dad, who was missing a kneecap. They wound up with an open marriage, but the wife ran off with the other guy and their cat. The bride and groom got married, and within 3 months, the bride found out the groom was married and had kids in a different country. Actually, I performed a wedding at a local bar. We left about 10 p.m. The newlyweds got drunk, started fighting, and were arrested, spending the night in jail. They were both 35, successful lawyer and doctor, but had never spent the night at each other's house. After the marriage, they couldn't agree who would move in with who, and filed for divorce after 3 months. No one knows why they even got married at all. I guess they felt like they were supposed to at that age. The wedding was beautiful and the most expensive wedding I have even been to. The bride worked for a fashion designer in NYC and had 3 different dresses she wore during different parts of the wedding. They announced she was pregnant soon after the wedding, and unfortunately scans showed there were a few things wrong with the baby. The stress of the situation caused my cousin, the husband, to relapse and go back to his old heroin habit, which apparently she had no idea about. His drug use quickly spiraled and he got fired from his job for stealing. And then his wife found out about it all and moved out to stay with her parents. Baby was born 100 healthy. Scans had got it wrong. He tried to quit drugs and make amends to her, but it was rocky and she divorced him before their first anniversary. He dipped off for a few years doing drugs, then got sober and found out he had brain cancer. Relapsed. Got sober again and had his brain tumor removed. Now he is still sober and remarried, has a few kids with his new wife. Saw some signs at the wedding, like ignoring each other, making rude and snide remarks publicly, etc. They tried to fix their marriage by having a kid earlier than they planned, and that led to divorce. Both are married to different people now and have had more kids, by all accounts far more civil, even cordial with each other. During the reception, the bride's niece accidentally knocked over a drink that splashed the bride's shoes, and she backhanded her in front of everyone. It caused a huge fight and the groom walked out right then. Went to a wedding that the bride's parents spent $30,000 for. 1 month later, the husband got a better job in a city 90 minutes away. The wife didn't want to move that far from her parents. They were divorced less than 2 months of marriage. My brother got married to a woman from Russia while in the army. The whole family thought she married him for a green card, but he was convinced it was love. They had their ceremony in a gazebo on a military base. It was a small gathering of family that traveled to it from out of state. His best friend since high school got ordained just so he could marry them. My brother was really excited. He wore a nice suit, and the bride, well, she showed up in a bright pink tracksuit. They divorced a year later. The maid of honor sat down at our table, down to shot, and said, "I give them 3 years. Edit, they made it 2 years and 8 months. My cousin female bride was dancing too much at the reception, so the groom hit her. My uncles gave him a ride to the hospital, which he needed very badly by the time he got there. It was annulled pretty quickly. My friend's mom got married to a trucker. Was a pretty nice guy, treated her well, took care of her financially. About a year in, his other 3 wives from other states group called her to inform her that he was also married to all of them as well. They all divorced him at the same time. Nothing was even finalized yet, and he was sitting at a bar drinking. A fight broke out between other people and he got shoved off his bar stool, hit his head pretty good, went home to sleep it off, and never woke up. I'm not sure, but the thank you card from my gift arrived on the day I found out they were divorced. 2 weeks at most. In contrast to some others here, this couple lasted long, a full 6 months. Until she confessed to cheating on him, repeatedly, with several men, for several years, sometimes with multiple men at the same time. Dude was a mess for a year after that. A week before the wedding, the bride walked in on the groom fucking the dog's stuffed toy. They went through with the very elaborate wedding, and I'm pretty sure it's because she wanted a wedding, not a marriage, in the first place. They annulled the marriage 2 weeks later. Her parents are still paying off the wedding debt, and that happened 5 years ago. My friend is a wedding photographer in Australia, and she had a couple where the groom was visibly recoiling from the bride in every photo. She couldn't get a photo of him looking comfortable or happy around his bride. No idea what was going on, but they didn't last long. The bride came out to Slipknot. They wrote their own vows, which were, shall we say, overtly and uncomfortably sexual, and they had been dating for a grand total of 2 whole weeks. Any and all attempts to inform them that this was a mistake were met with, when you know, or you're just jealous. But hey, a free bar is a free bar. Edit, so many questions. The song was the last bonus track on Subliminal Verses. Im told this track is called Danger Keep Away. The wedding itself was a small thing with a registrar in a council building. The staff there were very professional and only laughed quietly. The after-party was at a pub owned by the groom's uncle. The honeymoon was at Butlin's. They were separated by the time they got back. They were not in the military, just youngdom. We are all white trash, and that's fine. I bought them a toaster from Argos. I didn't ask for it back. He'll start. The bride and groom got married at 20, and the bride's dad asked her to return his credit card during his speech because she can't use dad's money now that she's married. He then ran over and started cutting his OWN credit card while the DJ played Rich Girl. 1. The groom fucked a bridesmaid at the reception, got caught behind the bar. Another, bride fucked the best man in the limo on the way to the reception because the groom rode with his parents in the second limo. The limo driver told the groom, "Didn't go to the wedding, but did go to the bachelorette goodbye party. We were in college, she was 9, from a super conservative family. Her longtime boyfriend visited her once and was terrible, wouldn't talk to anyone, basically sulked the whole time. He clearly hated that she was in school. When he proposed, her parents pulled the plug on college tuition because she didn't need it anymore. So she dropped out at the end of her freshman year, moved back to Central California and got married to the shithead. I never saw her again. But from what I've seen on Facebook, she finally dumped him in her mid-20s, moved across the country to get away from her family, and was working restaurant jobs while trying to get a degree. We're in our 30s now, and she still seems pretty angry about everything she missed out on and how she was treated, but she's living her life on her own terms. Not a happy ending, but I'm happy for her.